All right, so what we are going to do, we're going to practice working. Hi. We are going to practice working on creating our characters, right? So we need to get a base foundation first. And so we're going to do kind of like a step-by-step type of little walkthrough on how to make these characters happen. Okay, so this is a really like just kind of starting out basic kind of stuff. So even if you are somebody that's been doing this kind of stuff for a long time, still I want you to walk through this. It might be something a little bit different than what you've done. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe like, oh, that's not for me. But either way, I still want you to do it. And try it out this way. Maybe it's new to you. Maybe it's, like I said, something totally different. So, yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our circles, right? That's something we should have been working on already. So, right? So doing our circles. And so we're going to start out with, here, I'll just actually draw it on. We'll kind of come back to that one. So I'm going to start out with doing just a circle. Okay. I don't know how well. All right. So we're going to go with this one. So I'm going to start by doing just my circle. Okay. So we're going to go. All right. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to do an X right down the middle. Okay. So. All right. And an X going this way. Or a line going this way. I'm going to try to do a little light. Okay. So this first line here, that's our center point. And then this line here is going to be our eyebrow line. All right. So the thing is, a lot of this, whether it's with drawing, a lot of it's just going to be habit and just doing it in a routine. So when you're doing this, I want you to try to do it the same way every single time. Whether you're looking forward, sideways, turned, any of that stuff, you're still going to. When I say the same way every time, what I mean is by like in the same order. Right, so drawing the circle, drawing the X, whether you're actually drawing it or you're taking the training wheels off and you are doing it without the guidelines, right? I say training wheels because, like, that's kind of what this is, right? Like when you first started riding a bike, you were crashing all over the place, right? And so we put some training wheels on there to kind of help balance you out a little bit. And this type of grid is the same kind of idea. Is that when we're first starting out, you know, you want to do the grid. It's going to help you in the long run. You know, once you start to get comfortable with it, whether it's after like a month or whether it's after like the second or third drawing, like you'll have a better foundation by doing these grids and really thinking out about how this stuff works. Okay, because a lot of it is just math, honestly. A lot of it's really just pretty simple math. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is that we are going to do, and actually I'm going to switch to a different color, I think, because it might make life a little easier to see the finished product. So I'm going to switch to red. And so this next line is we're going to do a little bit further down. You know, don't go crazy, right? So, so I'm going to do a line there. Hopefully you can see it. Okay. So this line, somewhere between there is going to be your eye line. So let's draw our eyebrows in since I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to draw my eyebrows in. All right, they're not perfect, but it is what it is, right? So our next section is going to be your eye line. So your eyes are going to go in this space in here. They don't have to go directly through there, but what they do need to do, which is really, really important, is that they should be right in the center of those lines. One of the things we talk about math is that the distance between your eyes is actually the width of one eye. Okay, so I'm going to draw my eyes in. As you can see, I already kind of started doing this stuff earlier. And we'll go in and fine-tune stuff later as we go. Like I said, I'm kind of just doing these in markers so that way it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Normally I would still be doing pencil for this first sketch, or for this first like base of stuff. Okay, and so like your pupils, all that kind of stuff, they should be right into the center of that. So I'm going to draw. Like I said, we'll go back in kind of close to the end and kind of finish some of the stuff up. So this is the way I do it, and we're going to do a whole section on eyes, so don't stress out too much. But I make almost like a line, a U. Man, my lines are rough tonight. Across, and then I'll kind of fill that stuff in. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm trying to do the same proportions, so right on the same height. I, U, crossed. And then we got to make sure that we get a little bit of a reflection in there too. So I'm just going to kind of draw that part in there. So then our next line. So this is this first line, this red line here, which is technically my second line, but this first section right here. This sets everything else up. So we're going to X1, okay? This sets up the proportions for everything else that we do, okay? So so if we look at this next section, so this next section here should be twice of whatever this is. So we're doing X2, okay? And so we're going to do a line there. So we'll bust out my red again. So that's going to be right around where our nose is. And then so this is X1, right? So 1, 2, 1. Okay, and then so this line here, this is where my mouth is going to be, that X1. So we're going to just kind of go across. Okay, and these will come in important in a little bit as well, in a couple seconds. And then, so 1, 2, 1, and then we're gonna do 2 again. Right, and these are rough guides, right? These are, when I say rough guides, it's like the characters are gonna be different, right? Men are gonna be a little different than women. Boys are gonna be a little different than girls. You know, a thick neck. But this is a really good, solid start, right? All of our faces. Like there's a kind of a flow to them, whether it's space, distance, any of that stuff, and so that it all kind of comes from this, right? So faces are something we see all the time, and so if this kind of proportion, if stuff is off, you're gonna notice, okay? So this last section, this is where we're gonna throw our chin in at, right? So manga characters usually have kind of like a little bit of a pointy chin, okay? And so now we gotta have this stuff. So let's draw in some more of these lines. So we're gonna kind of cut the edge off. I'm gonna draw with my red. So we're actually gonna cut the edge off of this circle a little bit. That's how we kind of get our kind of like, and you don't want to go straight up and down. You kind of want to angle it just a little bit. And that's gonna be the kind of side of our face. All right, so here, there, okay, and so, and this is where we kind of get that like definitive manga shaped face. And so this first from here, from right around our nose-ish, oh, I forgot to draw my nose in, huh? So with noses, some of the things we need to think about is that this is kind of like that, kind of like pointy, arrowy nose. And so that's going to kind of come off of our eyebrow line, right? Into there. And then, so sometimes we'll even throw like a little bit of like a nose bridge kind of stuff in there. Okay. Our next, and so these little guidelines here, these will actually also kind of show us where like the changing of the angles for like the chin and all that kind of stuff come into play. So so I know the side of my face is going to be like here, right? And so my first kind of like bigger change in angle is going to go here. You know, and when you first start, like, it's totally okay if you want to do kind of boxier. That's not that big of a deal. So we're gonna go here. And I'm going to go angly. You want to try to have a similar angle as you did on the other side. I can say I went a little bit off. And you can even extend it a little bit. And then your next angle is going to be that sharper angle, and that's going to go all the way to the chin. All right, so mine's a little narrow, but that's not that big a deal. Okay, I'm gonna bring my mouth up just a little bit, just because I have that really dark line there for my original circle. So we're gonna kind of throw my. One of the things that's kind of nice sometimes is to not have a full thick line that's going all the way across for mouths and like your manga type stuff. Okay, I'm gonna throw a little like chin kind of line in there too. Okay, so next let's look at, so we gotta have our proportions in here. So we have 1, 2, 1, x 2. Okay, so now let's throw in our ears. So let's throw the face up, throw some ears in. So your ears are going to be kind of like right around where 1 is at. Oh, that was a thick line there, boy. All right. Okay, so you can see we're getting there. With eyes, so we're still recording, good. Some of the stuff, when we're really looking at this stuff, the top eyebrow or the top eyelid is going to be a little bit darker than the bottom one. That just kind of helps define the space and that kind of stuff too. So let's go. We're going to thicken this up a little bit. You can see this is where these little like detail-y things. Oh, that was way too thick, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to throw in I'll fill this in a little bit. There we go. Is my fat head in the way? No, all right. All right, so let's thicken these lines up a little bit, so there. I made the other one so fat, I kind of have to, fortunately, make this side a little fat too. Alright, let's fill this in. That side's a little thicker in it, but that's okay. Sometimes sometimes we'll throw in, like I said, I'm working with kind of a fat pen here, so that way you can kind of see a little bit better. Like they throw these kind of lines underneath of it. And as you look at like some of your favorite characters, you'll notice like the different shows have different like techniques and draws and that kind of stuff in here too. Let's throw a little bit of like these eye lines in. Just a little more detail in there. What else do we? Oh, we gotta have a neck, right? So depending on like the strength of your person or any of that stuff, we need to think about the neck. Like a female's neck is gonna be a lot thinner, where the male's neck is gonna be a lot thicker. If we want to go like goon style, you can go really wide. So I'm just gonna go with my like kind of like a little bit of a curve. Right, and there's usually they usually throw these little lines in there to kind of shoulder bone. And then you got that strong thing in the neck kind of in there, right? And then hair. So we got to throw some hair in there. Let's see, so we're going to go that kind of like spiky style for the guys. Not all of them, right? But some of them. Here, you know, you want to make sure it's coming in front of the ears, right? And then there's some more kind of coming out the back of the ears. Right, so that's kind of it, right? And so there's going to be tiered little for the things going on for this first project. The biggest things I really want you to know is that think about the 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So when you're doing this, do it kind of like a step by step. You know, here's another kind of version that I did. I don't know how well you can see that, but just for like my own kind of like guideline, like go through, you know, bust out your training reels, right? So circle, how well can you see that? Right, so this is my like cheat sheet. I'm kind of new to this still, right? So I started out with my little cheat sheet so that way I can go through each time until I feel comfortable, right? And there I made a little cheat sheet, drew the stuff out, right? Thinking about like my angle 1, so angle for my like jawline stuff. Angle 1, it goes from here to like here. Angle 2, like that steeper angle. Angle 2, okay? Try to do the stuff in the same sequence every single time, so that way, you know, you start thinking more about like your character rather than how to like proportions and all that kind of stuff, right? That should eventually just kind of become second nature because you're doing it the same way every single time, right? So repetition is key. All right, you guys got this. We're gonna get more into like eyes and different, you know, all that kind of stuff later too. But I really want you to try to, you're gonna end up making at least 3 of these to kind of get started this week, all right? I'll put the explanation on the class website. All right, good luck with your drawings and go get them.